Hello everyone! In Musketeers, the main thing that players do is play action cards. At the start of the game, you draft your action cards, but you don't draft them one at a time. Instead, you draft a set of 5 action cards called a fighting style. You draft 2 sets, giving you a total deck of 10 cards. In this video, I wanted to go over every fighting style that's in the game.
Sabre and Dagger are the 2 starting styles in Musketeers, and are recommended for new players because of their simplicity and their versatility. Sabre specializes in hitting lots of spaces at once, with cards like Slash and Sweeping Strike being able to hit players in hard-to-reach places. Dagger, on the other hand, specializes in movement and dealing damage repeatedly. Dagger's attacks are cheap, allowing players to hit opponents relentlessly. Sabre, on the other hand, has access to high damaging cards such as Decisive Strike. Both Sabre and Dagger have ways of sneaking in damage at times where opponents wouldn't expect it. Duck and Counter, as well as Slash, are both able to hit spaces 2 in front and 1 to the side of your starting position. This is a space that players often retreat to because it's safe from most attacks. When played together, these 2 styles are simple enough to allow people to learn the game, as well as flexible enough to allow people to make creative plays. Menacing is a style built around expensive, highly damaging cards. The centerpiece of the style is Mortal Blow, a 5-cost card that deals more than half of a person's health and can't be blocked. It also has Heavy Blow, an expensive card which does 1/3 of a player's health. The game plan of this style is to scare opponents into using all of their defensive abilities. Use cards like Intimidate to control how many cards they have in their hand, and then use the threat of your damaging attacks to get them to use evasive cards like Step or Block. Once they have nothing left, hit them with everything you have. This style can win with only a few interactions, and is best paired with a style that doesn't take a lot of energy. If the other style doesn't take a lot of energy, then Menacing can use all that energy for itself. Flashy is a fighting style that doesn't do a lot on its own, but is designed to add a lot of utility to whatever else you're doing. The centerpiece of this style is Weight, a card which does nothing to your opponent but allows you to draw more cards for free. This gives you a lot of energy and a lot of options on your future turns. To make up for this, Flashy struggles with dealing damage. Its forms of dealing damage are indirect. Cards like Throwing Knife are unable to hit opponents that are adjacent to you, and cards like 2 for Flinching only allow you to do damage to players who are blocking. A player who can cleverly read their opponent will get all the value out of cards like Weight, as well as getting value out of damaging cards using this style. This style is best paired with styles that require a lot of energy, such as Menacing. The Daring Fighting style is a high-risk, high-reward style for players who like to read their opponent and gamble. Your typical block is replaced with a parry, which costs more but can refund you money if you successfully parry an opponent's attack. Cards like Decisive Strike give you opportunities to do huge amounts of damage if you make a good read, and cards like Gut Shot and Fake Out give you utility that you can use to play mind games with your opponent. Cards like Dodge also give you opportunities to avoid a lot of damage if used correctly. Odd is a style that, similar to Flashy, is built around enabling the other cards in your deck. Cards like Echo allow you to repeat a card, giving you tricky options where you can reuse something that your opponent thought wasn't available to you anymore. Cards like Prepare and Refocus allow you to do more manipulation with the cards that are in the game, potentially giving you things for cheap, or signaling that you want to use one card before hitting your opponent with something totally different. When you finally do need to deal damage, Skewer is an ability that does a high amount of damage for its cost, but it can only hit people who are directly aligned with you. The Reactive fighting style is built around getting the most out of Split Second. This is a card unique to this fighting style that allows you to change whether or not you're using the alternate action of your card after you've seen what your opponent has played. Some of the other cards in this fighting style utilize that by having one side of an action that is very expensive and another side that's very cheap. See if your attack is going to hit and then decide how much you want to pay for it. Or see if your opponent's attacking you and then decide whether or not you want to get out of the way. Reactive is best used with other fighting styles that have a lot of split actions, allowing you to get the most value out of Split Second. Reckless is, in my opinion, the most unique fighting style currently in Musketeers. This style gives you cards that do a lot of damage for very little energy, but come with additional costs that can be devastating if you don't play them at the right time. The centerpieces of this deck are Cheap Shot and Wild Stab. Cheap Shot and Wild Stab, when played, require you to show your hand to your opponent and have them discard every card except for one. This is a pretty devastating downside, since it means that they know what card you're going to be forced to play next turn. This can lose you the game. However, if you make sure that these cards are only played when they're the very last card in your hand, you can avoid this downside while getting all the benefit of the cards. This style requires you to play very carefully around the order that you play your cards, reserving things like Cheap Shot and Wild Stab until you can make sure that they're going to be the last things in your hand when you play them. Veteran is a highly defensive style, allowing you to block and attack at the same time with Bulwark. Bulwark does nothing on the turn that you play it, but allows you to block in addition to all of your other actions on the following turn. When played correctly, this can allow you to attack and block at the same time. To balance this, Veteran also comes with Old Scars, a card which costs you energy only to make you discard other cards. However, smart players can use this to their advantage, discarding some of the last cards in their hand to get a new hand more quickly. With careful planning, Veteran can be a very powerful fighting style. Scared is a fighting style built around a single, powerful card. As long as Panic is on the field, every time you play a card, you draw a card, and every time you draw a card, you discard a card. This allows you to quickly go through your entire deck, playing whatever cards you need. It's effectively a massive increase in your hand size. Play Panic when your hand is full, and then go through as many cards as you need, playing whatever you want at that moment. Nimble is a fighting style that enables your other fighting styles through high movement and by taking cards out of your discard pile. Footwork is an action that lets you do an extra movement on your next turn after having seen what your opponent is going to do. This is useful as it lets you either make a double movement or adjust your positioning to your opponent even when you have the initiative. Cards like Secret Weapon allow you to draw an action out of your discard pile, giving you a chance to bring back a card that your opponent thought you wouldn't have access to anymore. Finally, Throw lets you deal damage to opponents even when they're blocking. Smart players will be able to use Footwork and Secret Weapon both defensively and offensively in their games, powering up whatever other fighting style they're using. Matador is a high-risk, high-reward fighting style with unique defensive options and the capability to do devastating amounts of damage. Matador is one of the only fighting styles in the game that doesn't have a block. Instead, it has Sidestep, a unique movement option that allows you to move laterally to the left or the right. It also has Clean Hit, a card which does nothing on its own, but amplifies the next attack that you perform. This can allow cards like Skewer to do half a person's health. But the most unique card of the fighting style is Muleta. Muleta removes your ability to block, but gives you 1 energy each turn that it's active. This allows you to relentlessly attack people and hope that they don't hit you back. Players who are able to scare opponents into using all their defensive options with Muleta and Clean Hit can follow that up with devastating damage. Heavy is a difficult to use fighting style that, when used well, can hit hard and hit often. Its most unique card is Exert, which discards your hand for free, but can be played as an additional action on top of what you've already played for 1 energy. It also has Slow Start and Slow Strike. Slow Start does nothing the turn that it's played, but makes Slow Strike free. You can either play Slow Strike for 4 energy, or play it a turn in advance for 2 energy, signaling to your opponent which card you're going to play. If you really want to fake people out, you can use Slow Start to play Slow Start again, delaying for extra turns and hoping to scare your opponent into using all of their defensive options. Use Slow Start to get highly damaging cards for cheap, and use Exert to recycle your cards over and over again, quickly going through your deck and putting your most damaging cards back into your hand. Urchin is a tricky style built around copying cards. Its most unique card is Copycat, which copies the card that the player on your right is currently playing, but for free. If you think your opponent is playing a very expensive and very useful card, you can use Copycat to give them a taste of their own medicine. Urchin also has Secret Weapon, which allows you to take a card from your discard pile and put it back into your hand. Finally, this style comes with some tricky damaging cards, such as 2 for Flinching and Throwing Knife, cards that can be awkward to use, but are also cheap and rewarding. This fighting style is best paired with styles that can do a lot of damage, such as Heavy, Menacing, and Sabre. Thespian is a style that gets stronger the longer the game goes on. Thousand Faces allows the player to draft a new trait, in addition to the one that they already drafted at the start of the game. The more times you get to play this card, the stronger you become. For that reason, Thespian is best paired with cards that allow you to play things from your discard or put those cards back into your hand. This makes styles like Odd, which have Echo, and styles like Nimble and Urchin, which have Secret Weapon, natural pairings for Thespian.
Thank you for watching. If you want to learn more about the game, click on this video to learn about how I designed the game's arena. If you want to try the game for yourself, you can play it on the Steam Workshop, and be sure to join the community Discord server to find other people to play with.